What's up, edgelords, cringelords, and all of those who likes Reddit karma? Welcome to the second episode of What's Out There, featuring the Big Bat. Woo!
Hi.
This is yes. Hi, clap clap. I expected
I
more
was
of
the
a.
only one who clapped.
I
That was
expected a little bit more of a roar there, admittingly, but it didn't really happen.
Come on, I was the only one who clapped. I'm disappointed with you guys. Whatever.
I clapped.
We don't have
Sure,
enough
buddy,
people
sure,
for a
buddy.
roar.
I
You
just
should know this.
Wow. I mean,
What, do you want me to say RAR XD or something? What the fuck?
My fellas, my intro was great. I personally thought it was fantastic.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are we cutting this out or not?
No.
Okay.
This is primetime content. This is it.
Angela,
Oh my!
This is the
what
shit.
an intro!
Everyone
What an
listens to
intro!
this is what
what an
everyone
intro.
wants to see.
This is the shit
Oh
you see
my.
on like BuzzFeed.
BuzzFeed.
Yeah, like a
What?
BuzzFeed podcast, like the Try Guys. It would be like something like that.
The only reason I know the Try Guys' existence is because of Jack Films.
I love the Try Guys. They're legitimately awesome.
Why are
I
you
don't know who these
comparing our
fellas are.
podcast to fucking BuzzFeed?
Well, because I was thinking of the Try Guys, and the Try Guys came from BuzzFeed, and the Try Guys have a podcast, and this is a podcast, so it made sense in my head. But I guess it doesn't.
All right.
make sense
Anyway,
in
let's just
practical use.
actually
Fuck you.
fucking do the podcast at this point.
I love BuzzFeed. Wish it was real.
Yeah.
Wish it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah. BuzzFeed. What? BuzzFeed.
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 Buzz. But I forgot the name of it now. Oh my
All
god.
right. What the?
BuzzFeed. Yes. It's
Where is
fake.
this gone?
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Back.
Well.
Okay.
Welcome to
Let's check the BuzzFeed quiz for which Shakespearean character you are. Oh, dang it. I got King Claudius.
Oh damn! It sucks to suck.
This
All
is
right.
True.
Yeah.
This is clearly a skill issue.
I got.
But okay. Bat has some things that they would like to show off, or you know,
Not necessarily showing off.
to show some talent that they have, some stuff they have.
Congrats on the wording, Elijah.
Yeah, some stuff they take pride in. I don't know.
We are very
Uh,
professional people, I promise.
Shut up.
Well, I was actually more interested in taking questions from you guys about things that you guys are curious about in the realm of. Well, let me just introduce the topic first. I'm like a Shakespearean actor. I have been like. I'm not certain the word to describe it, but like a hobbyist in the realm of Shakespeare's works for about, I believe, it's been 2 years now since I first like finished all of his plays. And I've performed in multiple, and I just want to hear your guys' questions on like what people outside of the like quote unquote Shakespeare fandom think about, or like what questions they have about really all of it. If you want me to go into a spiel.
What's your
about...
favorite play?
Yeah, that was my first question. What is your favorite
Alright.
Shakespeare play? And
So,
why?
favorite Shakespeare play is a very big question because a lot of people might just think, oh, it's easy. You can choose from like Macbeth, Hamlet, King, Romeo and Juliet, etc., etc. But no, Shakespeare wrote 36 plays.
Yeah, a lot. That's a lot of plays.
It's contested authorship. Usually, it's in the ballpark of 36 to 39 plays because
No exact number?
First, yeah, nobody knows the true number because the thing with Shakespeare plays is that we don't have any of the original manuscripts. None exist because back in those times, what they did was they would give every single actor in the play their line and then the line that comes immediately before it. So you wouldn't have, no single person had the full script except for Shakespeare and the company producing like the play. And
right.
this is actually where the term role comes from because they had all the lines on the scroll and they rolled it up and they gave it to the actor, and that's where the term roll
I
comes
actually
from.
know that. That's very interesting. Did not know that. It was always one of those things I knew that's what they called it. I know that's what they call it, roll, the word roll, but I never knew where it came from.
So I do have a question. How did you get into all of this? What brought you into the world of Shakespearean plays?
Well, I don't think I've still answered that first question about
okay.
what Shakespeare play I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
But anyways, still on the tangent of authorship, the reason why we don't know if a lot of these plays are authored by Shakespeare or like if they're co-authored or if they just weren't written by Shakespeare at all, is partly because no original manuscripts exist, partly because the ones that do exist are kind of shaky. Like, for example, for Hamlet, there's 3 versions of Hamlet. There's the first quarto, which was the first published version. Then about a year and a half later, they published the second quarto, which has about like 700 more words or something like that. 700 more lines, I'm sorry.
700 more lines?
Yeah, because, well, that's very complicated. We can get into that later because I will just keep going on tangents forever, and I'll never answer the original question. And then the first folio was like the first collected version of all of Shakespeare's works, and some works had quarto versions, some works didn't. Like Macbeth. Macbeth only exists that we know of because it's in the folio. There are no quarto versions of Macbeth. So there are many different versions of some Shakespeare plays, and like just generally, we can't tell who wrote what parts of some plays and if Shakespeare did or not. That's why there's a disputed number on the plays. But back to like choosing a favorite. There are 3 major genres of Shakespeare plays. There's comedies, tragedies, and histories. A good rule of thumb is that if it ends with a wedding, it's a comedy. So like Much Ado About Nothing, Midsummer Night's Dream are considered comedies because they're not sad. Tragedies, if it ends with a death or a lot of deaths, it's a tragedy. So like this is basically a lot of the plays that most people know of. Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy. Hamlet is a tragedy. And then you also have histories, which are plays about like that are supposed to be about mostly the history of England, like plays that like and Antony and Cleopatra, Julius Caesar, that are about like the Roman Republic, are generally classified as tragedies because they're not necessarily try to be historically accurate at all. But Shakespeare wrote a lot of histories about the kings of England, like King John, King Henry V, etc. And my favorites are generally the histories, actually. I mean, I enjoy all of them, but the histories are probably some of my favorites. I greatly enjoy Henry IV Part 1 because I feel like the characters are very fleshed out, and they have a lot of like personality to them. Like you have Prince Hal, who's like going off and partying every night at the pub with his friends, and you have like the guy who wants to stage a rebellion against the current king because he doesn't like him, and you have the really gluttonous fat guy who's trying to butter up the king's son so he can get a cushy job in government. It's all very fun, and I greatly enjoy it because of that, but it doesn't shy away from the themes of like royalty and the crown. If you had to ask me which my favorite play was, Henry IV Part 1 would definitely be up there.
All right.
Yeah, that's an interesting answer. It does sound like the characters are well. I've never actually seen. I've never actually watched whatever a full Shakespearean piece of work. Okay, I don't know that. So
I have only ever read Romeo and Juliet.
I haven't even had the chance to read that. Probably
it's really
should.
good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet is a pretty good play. Most people in the Shakespeare quote-unquote fandom actually rip on Romeo and Juliet a lot, because you read the whole play and you think it's going to be a comedy, and then they just throw in the death. And the thing with Romeo and Juliet is that you feel like if every single character wasn't stupid, the play would have turned out just fine. But I still like it a lot because of its poetry is very. I mean, it's Shakespeare's best poetry is what you're getting with Romeo and Juliet, and that's why it's taught in class most of the time.
It's nice.
Going back to Elijah's earlier question about why I originally got into Shakespeare, I read Romeo and Juliet as part of my 9th grade class. And I thought it was really interesting, a lot of the facets of it, like the history of Shakespeare and who he was, and him writing these plays, and a lot of the language of Romeo and Juliet I felt was very interesting, and the footnotes of it, and really a lot of the characters. And I feel like Mercutio, especially in Romeo and Juliet, was like it helped show that Shakespeare could be fun. And Shakespeare was written, of course, for entertainment. It's plays. But I also feel like it appeals to a certain like degree of comedy, which many people would enjoy if the language wasn't about 400 years old. Because you go through a lot of Shakespearean language, and there are constant jokes about like STDs and sex and poop. Because Shakespeare's plays, I'm completely serious here. Like, you go into Act 1, Scene 3 of Hamlet, there's a joke about STDs, and, like, Polonius basically tells his daughter, don't have sex or you might get crabs.
That's fantastic. That totally makes me want to read it.
Yeah, yes, and there's one joke in, like, Titus Andronicus where the villain basically says to one dude, I fucked your mom.
Okay.
Or actually, he says, I have done your mother, which I think is a much more eloquent way of putting it and funnier.
That's great.
And the reason that Shakespeare has a lot of this lowbrow comedy is originally the Globe Theater. Like, you think of it as like this really elegant high theater where the cultured classes would go. And sure, that was the experience if you were wealthy. You went and you got an actual seat at the theater, and you sat and you watched it, and you got to enjoy all the poetry and the characters and etc. of Shakespeare. But what most people don't tell you about the Globe Theater is that in the center of it, in front of the stage, there was just a giant pit. All right, no seating, no nothing. That the people who couldn't afford a seat would just file into like the lower classes, and they would shout stuff at the performers. It was very much an experience that combined like a lot of the upper class and lower class enjoyment of drama in England. And I feel like that like speaks a lot to how Shakespeare as an author can balance both like the cultured and refined monologues of his plays and also the dick jokes.
Like there's like, you know, definition to him, you know, depth.
Yes.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yes. I get what you're trying to say. He's not a
he's not one-dimensional, you know. He can.
Yeah, he isn't one. That's the term.
He isn't one-dimensional, even though there's just one photo of him.
Wait, wasn't he like alive in like the 1500s?
When I say photo, I mean like image, because you know you Google Shakespeare and you see the exact same like painting of him every single time. There's like one painting of Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually because that was the image put on the cover of the first folio when it was first printed, and then it was like there exists no other rendition of him.
I wonder if that's what he actually looked like. Those are the things I'm curious about.
It was written about, or the first folio was compiled, not written, about 6 years after he died, 6 or 7 years after he died. Because Shakespeare obviously wouldn't want his plays going into public hands before he died. And After he died, I guess it was just fair game. They rounded up a bunch of old actors and they scrounged up what they could remember of the plays.
Interesting.
And that's how we have all our knowledge about Shakespeare.
So the original play realistically could be sort of different.
Yeah, absolutely. There could theoretically be a scene where one person walks in, walks out, the scene is over, and if they didn't remember that scene, it just doesn't exist from what we know about that time period because we don't have any original manuscripts.
Oh my
We
god.
could just not know about it at all.
So the things as we know it, as like Romeo and Juliet, are just could be entirely different. That's kind of
theoretically.
That's a really cool, crazy thought.
That like reminds me of the Bible, how it's like evolved so much because it's been told differently every time.
And my favorite example of this is like the different editions of Hamlet because like it can create entirely different interpretations of a play depending on what variant you look at. Because like Quarto 1 was published in 1603, Queen Elizabeth was still alive, and Queen Elizabeth basically had a philosophy during her reign, which was like, if you don't talk about being Catholic, you're fine. But if you talk about being Catholic, I'm gonna have to kill you. But then the second quarto of Hamlet was published a year and a half later, which remember it had like 700 more lines, and this was after Queen Elizabeth died. So that law wasn't really enforced anymore or put in place. So, like, Hamlet was free to talk about a lot more themes involving religion in the second quarto than the first. Because Hamlet, like, it has a ghost in it, and the Protestant interpretation of ghosts, because they don't have purgatory, is basically it's a devil that's trying to come and undermine society. So whether you look at it from a Protestant or a Catholic lens is actually very interesting to the story of Hamlet. But this is veering way, way, way into the literary side of things.
I mean, that's what you're here for, right?
I'm actually interested in the letter.
Yeah, this is not boring stuff. This is cool.
Yeah, I've always heard about like Shakespeare, just never looked into it very far until like today, and I haven't even this is like my first taste.
Yeah, I mean
Shakespeare.
Yeah, I feel like that's really the barrier that's really most people's experiences with Shakespeare is they read either nothing or one play and like they never read it again for their entire lives, which I feel like is rather sad because there's a lot of good stories in there that make wonderful.
I've never had a chance to read it.
That makes sense. A lot of the plays are online, like on SparkNotes, and you can read them for absolutely free, which I think is a wonderful benefit to society because all of his plays are obviously in the public domain. And actually, SparkNotes is kind enough to provide no fear Shakespeare, like quote unquote, no fear Shakespeare translations of these plays into modern English, basically like transcribing the meaning of these lines.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's good. That is good.
So I feel like it's one of the best resources for people who want to learn or want to experience more of Shakespeare, but either like can't get their hands on any plays, which they're at Barnes and Nobles, or like definitely your local library has editions of some of these plays. Or you can like I'm blanking on what I want to say here. Or you can like.
You mean the word like what? Like library? Like...
No. I was blanking on what I was going to say earlier. It's that a common boundary into Shakespeare for many people is the language, of course, because this is early modern English, and even though grammatically, there are a lot of words that are similar to ours. And the grammar structure, it's not like Beowulf, where there are completely different letters just sprinkled in there. and all words are completely different. It's not like that, but it's still hard to digest for someone who's new to it, of course.
Yeah, that's it. I haven't even like at school had to get into Shakespeare yet because I was I'm a young brain high schooler. Like I haven't even gotten into that stuff yet, but I probably will read that this year,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which
And
is
like
insane.
something interesting about like Shakespeare and being able to understand him is that like you hear a lot of the time that there's a lot of words that Shakespeare made up. Like you'll hear sometimes that Shakespeare invented the letter Q. I'm not certain as to the variability of that. It's probably not verifiable. The letter Q definitely existed before Shakespeare. But
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
but like Shakespeare invented a lot of words that are in our common vernacular today.
Mhm.
I mean,
But what the downside of inventing a lot of words is that most of them never get picked up in the common vernacular, and the only place in which they exist is like a few of these plays, um,
Mhm.
which is somewhat infuriating because like these are words that weren't even used commonplace in early modern England. Shakespeare just made them up.
That's
It provides a barrier to understanding some of the language.
it's cool. It's really cool, and I wish that we could have lived in a time where this took place more often, because like it's not really nobody really writes like that anymore. It's something you have to look at Shakespeare for. If you
Yeah.
want to read something that's that specific, you have to go far back.
Yeah. I mean, our language has just evolved so much that you really can't find people who write or even talk like Shakespeare.
Yeah, like if you like that style of like old English, you can't look at new, you know,
Yeah.
poems and plays. You have to go back, which I mean, they're the best ones, I guess.
Have you ever heard of the theory? Like, I don't know why, but some people have the theory that Shakespeare never existed.
Mhm.
I have heard of that theory.
What does that
And
like? What's the point?
the quote unquote evidence for this theory is that um, we don't have any of the original manuscripts, so we can't know if Shakespeare wrote any of these plays or not, or even if he was a real person. But the counterpoints to this theory is one, we have the birth records. Two, other like playwrights made references to Shakespeare in their plays, like not references to his plays, but literally to the actor or the playwright himself. Um, so we know he was definitely a person and definitely a significant playwright. And also, if this many people in that his contemporary time period like attributed these works to Shakespeare, then we can pretty much say with near certain historical like certainty that Shakespeare was a person that did exist, did write these plays, and apparently died on like his 50th birthday because he partied too hard.
What a Chad!
What a
The
absolute
Chad
Chad.
Shakes,
Oh
the
my.
Chad
He
Shakespeare.
literally
What a
died
Chad!
because he partied too hard and he drank too much. And now you'll see little tidbits and facts that say, "Did you know Shakespeare died on his birthday?" When he literally just had partied too hard at his birthday party, and that's why he died.
What a
He had a
fucking
heart attack from
Chad!
partying too
Yeah,
much. Oh my.
Kind of like Edgar Allan Poe. He kind of died of some like nobody really knows what he died from. It's still sort of up
That,
in
rem-
the air.
that reminds me, the first ever person to get the COVID vaccine was named William Shakespeare, and he died not too long ago.
From what? If you said COVID, I swear.
It was just an unrelated illness. I don't
Died from
actually know.
partying too hard on his birthday.
Like father, like son. Like great
Oh
great great
my.
great 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 grandnephew.
And that William Shakespeare's name, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
But yeah, William Shakespeare was the first person to get the COVID vaccine.
That's really fascinating. I had never heard of that before.
Yeah.
I
I mean, he's from China, but
the first person.
That makes it more fascinating. Who is named William Shakespeare and
I
lives
don't
in China?
like
Who's named William in China?
The news the news literally comes from South China, fucking South China Morning Post.
Bro, send the fucking proof. Source, bro, trust me.
I'll send the link.
Source, bro, trust me.
Wait. I didn't. Oh, never mind. No. I'm sorry.
Did you tell us fake news?
He's from England. He's from England.
That's not any better.
It's just South China Morning Post made the news article.
Oh my God, Flux! You didn't even read the article. You just looked at the title.
Listen.
Because he was like 81. The scene was dubbed "The Taming of the Flu." So true.
That sucks, bro. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, William fucking Shakespeare, the first person to get the fucking vaccine.
Well, I mean, if your family name is Shakespeare, you can't blame their parents for naming their son William.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
They probably went like, come on, give me a fucking son. Oh my God. Like, how did they not, how is he not William Shakespeare the second or third or fourth? Like, how was he the first person in the Shakespeare family?
Probably it happened every other generation, and their father like hated their name, so they named their son something different, and then the son forgot the mistakes and decided to name their son William again, and it just went every other generation.
On and off. Oh my. You know, some people don't like their child having the same name as them.
I wouldn't want no little Elijahs running around. Shit. I mean, damn. There's been a banger episode so far.
It's
been a banger. Had some comedy, had some interesting facts.
Some comedy, some tragedy, some history.
Absolutely. Seriously, yeah. I mean, this in itself is like a play.
True. And I was hoping to transition into some of the acting side of Shakespeare.
Let's do it. That sounds fantastic.
Let's do it. Tell us about it.
So acting side of Shakespeare is a lot like acting for contemporary plays, of course. Except that there's a lot of fun things you can do with Shakespeare. Especially like, for example, this summer. When I say this summer, I mean summer of 2021. I was involved in a small production of Much Ado About Nothing with some friends from school. And this, we had 6 people for what is generally considered the most ensemble play. And everybody did it wonderfully. And which, great. It was wonderful. And the thing was that people had to change constantly. And at multiple different points, I just had to straight up improv Shakespearean dialogue to give people time to change. That was absolutely crazy event.
You know, that's cool. I always wanted to be... Oh, sorry, go ahead, K4.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say I've always wanted to be an actor. I did act for a little while. Never seriously or anything, but like one of my teachers tried to encourage me to do it. And I have a few videos of me acting, and I still think I'm pretty decent at it, but it's something that'll never ever come to the light of day though. Never
I was about to say well, if you want to act, then just like figure out when a play's going on at your school and audition.
Homeschool. Yeah.
I know community theater definitely takes auditions, but I'm not certain if you're permitted to do it if you're below 18.
Good thing I turned 18 in 6 months. 5 months.
Well, there's likely no barriers in 6 months
I get
to
my
community theater.
Yeah, I mean, and I get my third additional dose October 20th. That's exciting. So
That's great.
be fully,
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
be really, really vaxxed. I heard
Yeah.
that shit hurts so much.
Third one?
Yeah, like it was worse than the first two combined.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Whoa!
Like what part of it? What part of it?
Just the arm pain and everything.
Oh, like so
okay.
not it going in, just like the art pain after?
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about. Bro, the needles don't hurt. I didn't even feel the needle. Okay, maybe that's because of my experience. Okay, doesn't matter. But
To me, I personally didn't get like I got the tiniest bit of arm pain. I really didn't get much arm pain.
I didn't get arm
at
pain. I
all.
just got hallucinations. Like I thought I was
what?
grabbing. I kind of thought I was like grabbing my phone when I thought I was texting someone. I hadn't moved at all.
Bro,
I thought I was
that's
just texting.
what?
I
What?
was just not moving, and then I thought I was texting someone, and then I snapped out of it and realized I was like fucking sitting there in my couch, fucking dying.
Oh?
That's very bad. I feel like.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
I'm fine now.
That is something.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Definitely something. That's
Hallucinations are not fun. I know that
No.
from
I don't know if
experience.
I don't know if the exact term is hallucination, but I was just like fucking not fucking.
Maybe you were in like a fever dream. You just had a really bad fever, hella dehydrated.
I was like drinking chug jugging water left and right, so it couldn't have been that.
Oh, maybe you drank too much water and your brain swelled,
What?
because that is a possibility. But you have to drink a lot of water. Yeah, technically, too much water is dangerous. Your brain
Yeah,
swells.
too much water
much
is
of-
dangerous because if you have too much water, it can decrease the concentration of water outside cells, and then that leads a bunch of water to go into your cells, and they can pop, and that's not safe.
Okay, well, just
Oh.
explain it for me then. Dang! It's not like I had it there.
Oh
Hey,
wait,
but he
that's right. We're
probably
both in
dying on my
AP
property.
Bio, and we're probably on about
Yeah.
the same unit.
Yeah, we're relatively close. I'm on like eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells right now.
Fucking nerds.
Eukaryotic and prokaryotic. I
Yeah,
don't know how they're pronounced.
I don't either. I think I've heard different
Anyways.
pronunciations. Or I just made myself look like a real big dumbass. One of the two.
I promise you
Acting.
a lot. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say.
What were you gonna
something.
say? What were you gonna
I promise
say?
you, most people in this who are watching this probably don't know
It
Okay.
depends. It depends. It depends on who.
I don't know. LDE is full of a bunch of nerds who have no
Nerds.
life. Yeah. They really are.
That's true.
Like, honestly.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my.
Can confirm.
Anyways, back to like the acting side of Shakespeare. I wanted to give you guys a taste of some fun monologues. So I have right here the English Speaking Union of the United States National Shakespeare Competition monologue packet for 2022. And I just decided I'm gonna have you guys choose one of these for me, and then just go off the cusp. So, Evan, why don't you give me a random number from from 1 to 260?
Oh, 7.
7?
Bro!
7 is your number?
Bro!
My favorite number is 7. All right.
My favorite
I don't know
number is
why.
7 too.
I don't even know why my favorite number is 7.
Right, so then this is a monologue from A Midsummer's Night Dream by Helena in Act 3, Scene 2. If you're unfamiliar with A Midsummer's Night Dream, I believe that this is right after, like, basically the plot of Midsummer's Night Dream is that there's two sets of lovers. The king of Athens will be like, no, you're not getting married, no. So they go run off into the woods together, and then a bunch of fairies do a little shenanigans where they're like, they have the boy from couple 1 fall in love with the girl from couple 2, and they have the boy from couple 2 fall in love with the girl from couple 1, and the dudes fight over their love, even though they love different people, because they
Oh.
get confused. And the girls are like, "What's going on? Why don't you love me anymore?" And that's basically Act 3, Scene 2, the beginning of it. And then now Helena is doing this monologue. So since we chose 7, I guess this is the one that we're doing. So I pray you, though you mock me, gentlemen, let her not hurt me. I was never cursed. I have no gift at all in shrewishness. I am a right maid for my cowardice. Let her not strike me. You perhaps may think, because she is something lower than myself, that I can match her. Good Hermia, do not be so bitter with me. I evermore did love you, Hermia. Never keep your counsels, never wronged you. Save that. In love to Demetrius, I told him of your stealth unto this wood. He followed you. For love, I followed him. He hath chiled me hence and threatened me to strike me, spurn me, nay, kill me too. And now so you will let me quiet go to Athens. Will I bear my folly back and follow you no further? Let me go. You see how simple and how fond I am. Thank you.
Oh my.
I'm sorry, I'm accustomed to saying thank you after these monologues.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that was good.
I probably got the plot of Midsummer wrong. I haven't read it in a while.
Yeah, okay.
So you guys were likely missing some important context. If anybody watching this wants to give the context, shoot me a DM and tell me how wrong I am about everything.
I mean, that was pretty damn good, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's honestly impressive. I was never that good of an actor. I could do one scene from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, television is no different when you're an actor. I have a friend who we're going to a monologue competition, just generally, not necessarily Shakespearean. I'm actually doing a monologue from Oedipus for that. But he's doing a monologue by Joker in The Dark Knight Rises, and it's very, very good.
That's awesome. I would love to see that.
So TV and movies, absolutely valid forms of monologues and of acting.
I've always been kind of conflicted in what I've wanted to do with my career. I've had a few different people tell me I was really good at acting and it's something I should take seriously, or the medical field, or I don't know. I just have a lot of different avenues that I don't know what to take. It's still kind of up in the air, so who knows what happens.
Yeah, I mean, theater's always just been more of a hobby for me, personally. It is something that I enjoy fondly. I likely won't go into it, though. That's absolutely fine. If you're someone who enjoys theater, you have no need to make it your major. You can major in something else and perform in theater outside of that and be perfectly content with that, and you're perfectly fine. You're still a theater enjoyer. If you just like watching theater and you don't like acting and you just like going to plays and seeing people do their best, you're still a theater enjoyer. I feel no need to gatekeep based on what people do or don't do with their lives.
What a base speech that was. Just like what a like, okay, Bat, damn, you on your top shit today.
Thank you.
No, I'm no way. I don't really want to do acting, but it's not. It's. But honestly, I respect anyone who does. Like.
Yeah, it is definitely not an easy thing to learn.
It's not easy and entertainment funny. So anyone who wants to contribute to the funny gets on with it.
I kind of have thought about being a comedian, though. I feel as if though sometimes my off the cuff jokes are really funny. I'm very quippy. I'm very like fast in my response. I would be a good Spider-Man.
that is true. That's why you're on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was not involved in any decision making. In fact, I'm not going to be here next episode.
Listen. I didn't know this would be something you were interested in, or else I would have invited you. Besides the point.
I don't feel like leaving other people out of the monologue choosing process. So KF4, why don't you give me a number from 1 to 260?
258.
Oh my god.
This is one from Twelfth Night by Orsino. Ooh, this is one the same friend who's doing the Joker monologue did 2 years ago for this precise competition. And this is literally right at the beginning of the play, so no context, except that Orsino's like the Duke of some country. I don't remember, and it doesn't matter.
The Duke of Edinburgh. No.
Music be the food of love. Play on. Give me excess of it. That surfeiting, the appetite may sicken and so die. That strain again, it had a dying fall. Oh, it came over my ear like the sweet sound that breathes upon a bank of violets, stealing and giving odor. Enough, no more. 'Tis not so sweet now as it was before. O spirit of love, how quick and fresh art thou, that, notwithstanding thy capacity, receiveth as the sea. Naught enters there, of what validity and peach soar falls into abatement and low price even in a minute. So full of shapes is fancy, it alone is high fantastical. Thank you.
Wow.
Let's go!
Yeah,
Okay.
that was.
Holy.
Can I pick a page?
Sure, absolutely.
I don't know why
1-2-60.
I don't know why nobody picked this, but 69.
I was literally. I knew you were.
Okay, Elijah.
This is one from Henry IV, Part 1, by Prince Hal, who is the son of the current king, Henry IV, because that is who the play is named after. This is the first scene which Prince Hal appears in, and basically in this monologue, he's basically telling all of his bar friends a silly plan that they have. I think this is their silly plan where they rob people.
Oh. That sure is this.
Prince Hal, Act 1, Scene 2, Henry IV, Part 1. Begin. I know you all, and will a while uphold the unyoked humor of your idleness. Yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth permit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world, that, when he pleased again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at than by breaking through the foul and ugly mist of vapors that did seem to strangle him. If all the year were playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work. When they seldom come, they wish for come, and nothing pleaseth but rare accidents. So when this loose behavior I throw off and pay the debt I never promised, by how much better than my word I am, by so much shall I falsify men's hopes, my reformation glittering o'er my fault shall show more goodly and attract more eyes than that which hath no foil to set it off. Also offend, to make offense a skill, redeeming time when men think least I will. I was wrong about the purpose of that. That's not him planning the robbery that happens in Act 2.
That's awesome.
Actually him telling all of his bar buddies that when he becomes king, he'll give them nice, cushy jobs.
Yeah. I like the word yoked. Yoked.
Yoked.
I'm yoked, bro.
If you want to see what happens when he actually does become king and whether he does give his friends cushy jobs, I could perform my monologue that I did last year by Prince Hal, now King Henry V.
Sure. Do it.
And this is to his fat buddy who I talked about earlier, Falstaff.
His name is Zach.
Basically.
Oh, wait. That was the worst fake awkward laugh K4 that I've ever heard you give. I'm way too emotionally intelligent for that, bro. Like you can't put it past me.
No. No.
Alright, go ahead, Bat.
Oh my.
Anyways, Falstaff has pretty much, from the day Al stepped into that bar, he has been buttering Falstaff up to make him like a consulate or like an advisor to the king or whatever when his dad dies. And now Prince Hal, finally crowned as king, is like walking down the aisle with his like group of like guards and stuff to like actually like speak to his subjects for the first time as king. And Falstaff calls out to him while he's walking up, like, "Hey, look, it's me, your old buddy Falstaff. What happened to me?" And then Prince Hal delivers these words right at the end of Henry IV, Part 2. "I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. How ill white hairs becomes a fool and jester. I have long dreamt of such a kind of man, so surfeit-swelled, so old and so profane, but being awaked, I do despise my dream. Take less thy body hence, and more thy grace. Leave gormandizing. Know the grave doth gape for thee thrice wider than for other men. Reply not to me with a fool-born jest. Presume not that I am the thing I was, for God doth know, so shall the world perceive. I have turned away my former self. So will I those that kept me company. Thou dost hear I am as I have been. Approach me, and thou shalt be as thou wast, the tutor and the feeder of my riots. Till then, banish thee."
Clap, clap.
Very, very charged monologue, Bay.
Yeah, that was
That line had so much power
that.
to it.
Yeah, I was about to say there was like a lot of like testosterone in that.
That was,
Henry King.
King Henry V has been playing
Yeah.
Falstaff like a fiddle this whole time.
Nicely done. This is
So yeah, Shakespeare's histories, of which Henry IV is one of them, or actually two of them, obviously have a bit of dramatization and things that probably didn't happen. Falstaff probably wasn't a real person.
He's real in my mind, damn it.
Falstaff is quite a funny fellow. I enjoy him greatly.
So back to some questions.
Oh yeah, sure.
Now
back to the literary part.
What really makes you? I don't know how to ask.
What makes you you?
What is the most interesting about this? Like,
Oh.
what really interests you?
So, something that I found interesting about this was initially I transferred to the school I currently go to in 10th grade. And I decided, you know what, I didn't take any electives last year because I was lame, but I have to choose an elective this year. And I've already taken videography in middle school. I'm not really interested in many other things. I think I'll go for theater arts. Theater is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And when I first went into the theater arts, the teacher was great. I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff, but I just didn't feel like I had any direction, like, in what I enjoyed. I hadn't read many of the plays or the musicals that, like, people who are already in the class, like, had and really enjoyed. I was like, what is the death of a salesman? What is a hairspray? What is a Mamma Mia? And like, I didn't feel like I had a lot of direction because I'm a very literary focused person. I hadn't really like gone to the lengths to enjoy those more contemporary pieces of literature. But I had read Romeo and Juliet the year before at my old school, and I thought that was rather interesting. So my English teacher actually had a copy of Twelfth Night, which is one of Shakespeare's plays, like one of Shakespeare's comedies, in his room, like in his little personal library that students could take to read. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? I feel like because I have the Shakespeare monologue competition coming up, and I chose my monologue for that, and I have to go with it. I'll read this just to get familiar with the language, and I can do a Shakespeare monologue. And when I read Twelfth Night, I loved it. I thought it was so fun because, you know, Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy, and it's sad, but it's not necessarily fun. And I like fun things in Shakespeare. Right. Sad things can be great as an audience member, like I love reading or watching King Lear. It's like I don't want to spoil anything from King Lear actually, because I feel like the story is just so heart-wrenching that if I were to like describe it to you guys, I feel like I'd be doing you a disservice.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So King Lear, I think there's like a rendition on like Amazon Prime Video that has like some modern actors performing the lines. It's great. Watch it. But anyways, like after I read Twelfth Night, I was like, Shakespeare can be really fun. So then I started reading other plays. Like Julius Caesar was the one my monologue was from, and my library had all of these. It even had like a copy, not an original copy, but like a collected works of Shakespeare, not like an original first folio copy. Those are like, I think there's like maybe like 100 of those in the world.
Damn.
The Folger Shakespeare Library owns like 2/3 of them, so they can flex on everybody else. But like, I read Julius Caesar because that was the play that my monologue was from. I read Othello. I read a bunch, and then I just started reading so many of these plays. And
I read
the thing
Julius
was,
Caesar.
Because these plays, you know, they're not long works of fiction. They're meant to be consumed in 1.5 to 4 hours, depending on the play. Though 4 hours is really an outlier. That's just Hamlet, really. The plays are short. You can read them in like half a day if you're just like dedicated to it. And like even during times when I had school, just any time I had a break, I could pull out like the Shakespeare thing and like a 5-minute break. I could probably get 1 or 2 scenes in that time because it's a lot shorter. And the thing with Shakespeare is that the more you read it, the more you can understand it, and then the better you read it.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
There was some points in time where I was literally reading like 4 in the span of 48 hours. It's somewhat absurd.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I was literally just like walking and reading and reading and reading. It was like, did you guys ever have that phase when you were like a kid and you discovered some series that you really liked, like Harry Potter or something? Not saying that Harry Potter is a good book series, by the way.
Did you just shade Harry Potter?
I love shading Harry Potter, not necessarily because it's J.K. Rowling who wrote it, but that's definitely a factor. But because I don't think Harry Potter is very good, which we can get into a different time.
I don't either.
Ooh. My brother's in a Harry Potter fan club.
Like an official one run by a school?
I don't even think it's by my school. Because like I have his email on my phone and
Oh
I keep getting emails about it. I keep getting emails about a
You keep
fan club.
getting emails about the official Harry Potter fan club.
Yeah.
House is your brother? Which house is your brother?
I can read one of the emails if I can find my phone. Here it is.
Oh my god.
Anyways, while you're grabbing your email, I just wanted to say it was like when you were like a kid and you discovered some.
I gotta restart my phone.
I'm gonna be honest, I still do that now.
Yeah,
like I do that with some.
You discovered a book series that you really enjoyed, and then you just couldn't stop reading. You couldn't put it down. It was like that.
You know.
Yeah, there's still books that I do that with, but to a much lesser extent. Like stuff like The Stranger by Camus is definitely one that I did that with. Don Quixote was one that I did that with when I was reading part 1, and then my interest in it kind of fizzled out around the 150-page mark.
I've always had.
But like that still happens, but to a lesser extent. And the reason I really enjoy Shakespeare is that just consistently happened with like 4/5 of the play. Shakespeare has a few bad plays. Like When the Shakespeare play is bad, it's like, whew, it's not good. But like four-fifths of his plays are definitely like pretty good. Like I'd say that like 2/5 of them are like masterpieces, wonderful, really great. And then like another 2/5 of them are like, that wasn't like outstanding, but it was something that I'm happy with and I'm happy that I experienced. And then like 1/5 of them are just absolute stinkers. Shakespeare wrote some genuinely just horrible plays.
Yeah.
Like Merchant of Venice or Taming of the Shrew. Or Merchant of Venice has some good monologues. Like, if it wasn't anti-Semitic, it would be a good play.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, I don't like to use the like it was a different time at all argument, but this was during a point when Jews were quite literally banned from London, so it was a bit of a different time.
Yeah, just a
that's
teensy wee bit.
Yeah.
There we go. I just had to restart my phone because I didn't have any Wi-Fi at all.
Just a
for some
average
reason.
average rural North Carolinian woman.
Yeah, right. See,
Especially-
I would read more, but I loved reading for a very long time when I was younger. Would read I was, 11 years old reading 400-page books. I loved it. But then school started to force me. And then that's when it became a problem. I was like, my interest in it is just gone. I'm really good at it too. I'm really, really good at like language arts and stuff about that. It's one of my strong
Alright.
suits.
I got the email pulled up right here. What the fuck? Hold on, let me go back to it. So
We're gonna all die. I'm calling
it
it.
says, "Hello, my brother's name. I'm not gonna dox him. Welcome to the Harry Potter fan club. Hooray! You successfully joined the Harry Potter fan club." The email is titled, "You're all set." Email is wait.
Can you prove this?
This is the
I can
email
send
you
a
get when
screenshot to you.
you've proven that you have nothing better to live with your life.
Flux, if you
Wait.
can prove this, that will be the YouTube thumbnail.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Take a screenshot and
Yeah, if you can
blur my
blur his name. Yeah, and blur
His
your
name.
email. Yeah,
Wait, let me get a different screenshot.
that'll be the thumbnail.
Oh
That's
my god.
Oh my. All right, let me just edit it real quick and send it in the chat. Oh my god.
Are we bad
Isn't it-
people?
No,
Oh, we're amazing people.
Bat,
Each and
are-
every one of us.
you're
Bat
super
is
nice.
pure of heart.
Bad. Are we bad people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are.
I can't. No comment.
That. If you have to say that, that means we're bad people.
Unable to disclose.
Yeah. If you have to plead the fifth, you're guilty. I mean,
I can either deny or confirm that statement.
yeah, that just means you're guilty. Because if you weren't guilty, wouldn't you just be like, yes, I'm fucking innocent. I didn't fucking do that. Why would you deny not doing it? No.
Then if you get found guilty incorrectly, they can say that you did perjury.
All right,
Mm,
there it is. There it is, everyone.
boy.
Welcome to the Harry Potter.
Oh.
Nothing else. That's
I
all
want
they
to
said.
point
They
out
didn't tell him
the
what
email is
house he
literally Harry Potter fan club.
Oh.
joined. What's the email address? Wait.
I can try to find it a bit more. I can.
Why? The real question is, why is this your? You only have one brother, correct?
Yes.
Why is your
How old
older
is he?
brother join? Why is your 17 to 18-year-old brother joining a Harry
He
Potter
actually
fan
just turned
club?
18 on Sunday, so happy birthday to him.
Yeah, happy birthday to him. Embarrassing the fuck out of him. This is,
Listen,
bro,
listen,
this is how you make somebody depressed.
listen. He won't
Yay.
watch us. He won't watch us.
LD.
He won't watch
What?
us. He won't watch it.
Oh.
I don't think Flux's brother cares enough.
Yeah,
to
no.
wanna care.
You know, the funny part is that he never read the email.
What?
But he signed up.
He already
never-
knows he's all.
Why?
He was too
Never read it.
ashamed to open the email.
Okay, I will literally send you guys the screenshot of like what it says for the email, because it just says Harry Potter fan club.
He's
Okay.
getting scammed.
Yeah, it's like, Harry Potter, give me your social security number and I'll send you your ticket to Hogwarts.
J.K. Rowling is coming and demanding that he gives her.
J.K.
gives her
Rowling
his
is
security
broke
number.
and spent all her money on Harry Potter memorabilia. Can you please spare $300 to help her buy food?
All right,
Thanks.
Now I need you to send this. Now I need you to send the money
sending
to this
like, all
random
that I get.
Bitcoin account. I need you to send the money to this random Bitcoin account owned by me, J.K. Rowling, because I live in Nigeria.
Yeah.
It literally just says Harry Potter fan club. I don't.
Hooray! That is
Doesn't
a
have an
scam.
address. The address is Harry space Potter space fan space club
Why is this
at
so funny?
gmail.org.
Oh,
I thought for
hooray!
a second that they spelled hooray wrong as HOOREA or REY.
Oh,
Hurry!
it's Harry.
This is
Harry, you successfully joined the Hooray Potter fan club.
this is for sure the best podcast we've recorded so far.
Oh my. Well, we've
This
only
is the
recorded.
best podcast of all time.
So far.
This is
So
known
far.
to be true.
Out of the
Many
two,
people are
this-
saying this.
Many of my sources are saying this. Bro
Yeah,
trust.
for example, us four.
Yeah, we are saying this. Yeah. So we are.
Honestly,
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't expect so many different people to sign up for the podcast.
yeah.
like,
I mean,
we
almost
have-
think-
15.
think only
No, we have like
Everyone-
17.
Everyone wants their 15 minutes of fame.
I know.
17.
We have like
17
17 more people. That's not including Bat.
We are the next H3.
Well, one person actually filled out the fucking thing and said no.
Oh, yeah. Somebody said no. Like, why fill out the form if you're just gonna say no? Like, you don't
Hey,
fill the
respect-
form out.
Respect to you.
Because
You know
I
who you
don't
are.
want to.
You know who you are, but respect to you. Respect to you.
I want to dox them.
That was
Thank you.
absolute
Thank you for
Chad.
letting us know of your
Absolute
interest
Chad.
not to participate.
Yeah, I know, right? Thank you for letting us
just-
know that you
I don't
fucking
know.
hate the podcast. Fuck
The
you.
reason was I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We're mercilessly insulting one of our favorite people in the world.
oh my.
You know who you are if you hear this. If you hear this, then ping me when you hear this. Then I'll know if you're fucking listening.
All right. Yeah, that's a good one.
Everybody who makes it to this point, ping Dick Coochie if you're listening. Thanks.
All right. Actually, DM him. DM him.
No, ping me. I give explicit
him.
permission.
We'll see how many pings you get.
Probably like 3.
We are now the LD podcast.
There you go. I pinged
Yeah.
you.
Okay, all right. You
Oh,
made it. All right, Bat. You
I
made
got
it.
to
Good
this
idea.
point, okay?
Yeah, you did get to this point. Okay,
I
Flux.
did.
All right.
All right.
All right. I
I've
think
made it.
we're winding down to the end.
I think it's
What?
I think we've reached a.
I think we're
proper
getting to that point.
because
Mhm.
it's
It's been about an hour and 4 minutes. I think we're
glorious time.
pretty good.
Uh,
Well, thank you, Bat.
yes, thank you for
Welcome.
coming.
Thank you so much. It was
I have
awesome.
one last piece of advice, and
What's
it
that?
is, to thine own self be true. That is from Polonius in Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 3, right after he tells Ophelia to not get crabs.
Ah, let's go, Chad.
I think it might be before.
Thou
Thank you
mother
for
has
having
been
me.
fucked by yours truly.
One last little tidbit of information. Shakespearean English actually used both you and thou. Thou was the informal version. You was the formal version. There you go.
All right.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Say goodbye, everybody. It was fun.
Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.